NFL linebacker Dan Connor, who's Strath Haven alumni and one of our pride and joys in the website. So we wanted to get a minute to chat to him. And Dan, you know, very few kids will ever get to go to a major college football team and then go on to the pros. So you came out of here, you were Delco Player of the Year, and you know, certainly Football Player of the Year. It was a good season, and you know, you had a pretty record storied career in high school. So then you graduated early, I remember, and went to Penn State. And what were your impressions when you got there relative to the differences you saw?
It was tough early on. I mean, I got there in January, and they were already into winter conditioning, which is the wake up at 5:30 in the morning, run and lift before the sun even gets up, and then go to classes. So it was a tough time of the year to come in, but it exposed me to pretty much the hardest part of college football, which is the training and the off-season stuff. I mean, when you're on the field, it's fun. You're playing football. The off-season stuff is the toughest. So getting there kind of in the grind was good. I mean, I got it under my belt and got a huge jump start on all the other freshmen coming in. So, you know, it was tough, I guess, the first month or two adjusting, but then once I got into it, it was a smooth transition.
How do you notice the competitive level between what you'd experienced? I mean, you went in pretty much for defense. You had been an offensive star here as well. Did it surprise you that you wouldn't be handling the ball at all, or do you think that was expected? Or
yeah, that was expected. I mean, when they're recruiting you out of high school, they usually have a position for you in mind, and they let you know their goal for you. So I knew I was going in there to be just a linebacker, and competition-wise, I mean, it's a whole different level. I mean, the guys are bigger, stronger, and faster, and you're putting a lot more time into it. You're not just showing up kind of for practices and game day. I mean, the meetings, the lifts, the runs, it's a full-time job. And in college, you got the classes on top of it. So it was a lot of work, and it is a big jump. I mean, it was a significant step in competition from the high school level.
Playing in front of a big crowd in high school is 5,000 to 6,000 people. Playing at Penn State's over 100,000. What was that like walking out in the field?
That was an adjustment. I mean, you want to try to stay focused on the field, but it's one of those things that's easier said than done. I mean, you get out there, first time, second time, your eyes are going to wander up to the crowd, and you notice the 110. I mean, you hear it, you see it, and it's overwhelming. But I'd say by the middle of my freshman year, I was adjusted, and I mean, they're cheering for you, which helps, and it definitely motivates you. I mean, there's probably no better fan base than the Penn State fan base. I mean, they're supportive, and they show up to the games before even the players do. I mean, they're tailgating and ready to go. So it was a tough adjust. It was tough to, you know, get used to playing, you know, in front of 100,000 more people than you do in high school, but you get used to it, and you use that to your advantage.
Well, it's sort of like us when we march, you know, go with our marching band and stuff, all 400 of them, so relatively speaking. What was it like to travel in college? You know, here obviously you travel on a bus for 40 minutes or 20 minutes.
Yeah, so college is the first time we're flying out, so Penn State, you know, we got to wear suits, got to look good, shave up, get your hair cut, and that's how Joe used to do it. But Big Ten is spread out. Pretty good amount. I mean, Penn State's kind of the only one off on its own in the East Coast. The rest of them are Midwest teams almost. So, yeah, you're flying out 2-3 hours, and the day before the game, we would go, Friday morning, so we fly out, have a walk through, stay in the hotel, have meetings. It was different. It's kind of your first taste of the NFL life, where you're on the road a little bit, and you're a full-time football player. You know, you're out of classes, you're on the road, you're dressed professionally, and you're acting professionally. So that was different, and I liked it. I mean, I took to it right away. I knew it was something I'd like to make a profession, you know, and luckily I had the opportunity to.
All right, so then you have 4 really good years in college, and obviously you're moving on to the pros, or you're hoping to. A little disappointment, I guess, in the draft to some degree, but those things happen. Then you get down and you start playing for the Carolina Panthers, and so what was the transition there?
That's a big jump. That's a bigger jump than the high school to college one. You're with grown men. I mean, you're coming in, you're 21 years old, and these guys, you know, are married, have families, and been around the league for a while, and they know, you know, the ins and outs and the tempo, and there's just so much to football you don't know until you get to the NFL, and that's as a player, and I assume as a coach too. But that's a big jump, and it takes a little bit of time, and got hurt my rookie year, which is tough. Going through an injury, it's a long road back, especially the NFL, to get back to the level you were at before. It's a full-time job, just rehabbing. So that first year, yeah, that was a grind, and I learned a ton about football. I knew what it took to work to get back to a high level, so I learned the work ethic early, and it ended up helping me. I mean, now I'm having that first year, almost a redshirt year, to get acclimated, get comfortable, and see the game kind of from the sidelines. That was huge. I mean, it was tough at the time, but looking back, it helped me out.
Now you're with the Dallas Cowboys, which is very difficult for most of us here in Philadelphia, but you knew that. But it's okay. It's a paycheck, so. But so you've been down to camp already for workouts with the team. You think you're going to be platooning in there with their situation? I'm playing a lot or a little or what?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on training camp. You know, they brought me in to play inside linebacker next to Sean Lee, a guy I played with at Penn State, and Rob Ryan's the defensive coordinator. He's a guy that uses a bunch of people, and however it shakes out, you know, I think I'll be on the field a good amount, and down there, yeah, in Dallas, doing my thing down there. It'll be different.
It's very difficult for some of us to watch that game and know who to cheer for, including, I think, Brian's little boy, who's really confused by being in Dallas now. But all right, any other words of wisdom you want to leave with the kids and the parents that are listening to this that have hopes and aspirations?
I would say, you know, don't force the sport too much. You know, early on, let the kid have fun. That's one thing. I played a couple sports. I didn't even know which one I was serious about, you know, until I got older and I started to hone in. Now, you know, kids are going with one sport a little bit too early. I mean, you let them have fun. You let them be an athlete. Then when they start getting into high school, they can start narrowing it down. But having fun is the most important thing. You know, that's one thing that's kept me wanting to wake up, you know, in the morning and go run at, you know, 5:30. Is I enjoy the work, and it's never been forced down my throat. It's been something that I like pushing myself and seeing where it's at. So have fun with it, and you know, it works out for some people. It doesn't for others, but as long as you push yourself, I think you'll be proud of what you did.
Well, very good. Listen, good luck at Dallas, and with the exception of a couple of games a year, we wish you a lot of success. All right, take care, and thanks for the time.
Yep, thank you.